Welcome, fellas. Thanks for watching. So today's topic is on financial literacy, or rather, the lack of financial literacy in modern women these days. The proof: just absurd levels of credit card debt accrued by women, the tens of thousands of US dollars. Coupled with the high cost of living, they end up digging deeper into the debt ditch. The main reason? Complete lack of forethought. Planning and budgeting. Firstly, to blame the education system for this lack of financial literacy is just stupid. Compound interest is something we learn in school. Set percentage of an amount loaned per established intervals of time that's added to the final total of amount owed. Even with a lack of understanding these terms because they didn't pay attention and were busy doing whatever on their phone. Therein lies their answer, doesn't it? There really is no excuse with the advent of AI operators. All they would need to do is ask their preferred AI operator the definition of compound interest, the amount of said interest, and so on. They would then be able to pay off the loan without having to run on TikTok and cry that they didn't realize they were just paying the interest without even touching the principal amount. But even without understanding these topics, a little prudence and common sense goes a long way. For starters, why do they think that these banks are willing to lend them money in the form of a loan? Simple. They are expecting to make a return on investment. Usually, this is in the form of added interest per monthly installment. In a structured payment plan, agreed on by both parties, bound by a physical contractual agreement signed by both parties, we all see on social media these wenches screaming that they were tricked or taken advantage of by banks. But how so? Everything was clearly stipulated in the document for the loan's approval, with proof that you agreed to the terms and conditions on the contracts, their signature. They can't scream robbery with high interest rates on their loan because they gave physical acknowledgement through their signature, accompanied by valid forms of identification.
Why?
So, when the bank calls to inquire about why payments are late, they are in no position to get snippy with the agent. As stated earlier, a little common sense, combined with some life experiences, goes a long way. What I mean by life experiences is the ironclad rule that there is no such thing as a free lunch. Men know this rule all too well, most of us anyway. It's amazing how a lot of the videos on social media make it seem like they were given free money and are now shocked that they have to pay back more than they borrowed otherwise. They face the banks seizing any other valuable assets to settle their debts. However, I will relinquish one thin slice of slack on women's behalf, being that even approving them for a loan, while having full access to their statements and credit scores even at higher interest rates, is extremely predatory. But that's as far as it goes. In the wild, prey-type animals flee the minute they see a predator animal. But these chicks are essentially doing the predator's work for them by walking up to them and jumping straight into their mouths. It's one thing if they use that risky loan to start a business that becomes lucrative enough to not only pay back the loan with interest, but enabling them to make a good standard of living for themselves. But instead, what do they spend it on? Designer bags? Luxury cars? Fancy vacations? You name it, these tramps probably used a risky loan for it. This enjoy life in the moment mindset they seem to have is very concerning. I asked a few guys, why do you think banks still do this? I watched several other manosphere channels for insight. The first problem is that unless the women come from some money and they have some claim to an inheritance from their parents or grandparents, it's not worth the investment. And if they come from such means, their parents would help them pay off the debt before any significant profit from interest and late fees could be made. They probably wouldn't even apply for a loan in the first place. If anything, it's women who have next to nothing are the ones who are the main subjects of this debt trap scheme, particularly the ones from the lower end of the income bracket. You would think that being frugal would be something these women would have already mastered. But alas, they're too distracted by extravagant lifestyles being posted on social media that they start wanting that for themselves. At least, that's what I think is causing this lack of smart decisions on their part. As a matter of fact, it's widely established that women carry the lion's share of total debt in almost every country. It's not the patriarchy keeping them poor. It's their stupidity keeping them poor. With that in mind, there's only one plausible explanation. The women aren't the prey. They're the live bait. The target men with assets worth taking. Now, you would normally think that no self-respecting man would be caught dead in this type of trap to pay for some wench's accumulated debt at great personal expense. But my brothers, I turn your attention to the simp, or rather their evolved form, the gigasimp. I think that depending on their mindset, it's possible for simps to be able to correct their course. But the gigasimps, those are different altogether. These are men, and I mean that only in the biological sense, with next to no self-respect, and will bend over backwards just for some attention from a pretty woman. I doubt anyone would refute this, since in the previous video, these guys were buying bottles of excreted bodily gases and used bathwater. From gamer girl models for several hundreds of dollars apiece, this seems right up their alley. If I were to rephrase this, it would mean that even banks want a nice big slice of the simp economy pie. Interestingly enough, for some reason these guys tend to be men of means. They have the financial leeway to pay several tens of thousands of dollars easily. But how can this be? Stable job, respectable job, an entrepreneur even, good salary, good company benefits. Have great skill and proficiency in their professions with a bright future in the company. But somehow, they still end up in relationships with wasteful gold diggers. He falls in love, he may have some friends and family telling him she's bad news, but still proceeds to marry without any form of asset protection. He works his butt off at his job while she's home, either wasting money on needless things, cheating, or both. Doesn't notice anything for the most part, and when he does point it out, she either says some gaslighting nonsense that it's for them, or something like that, and to finish the deflection, some bedroom acrobatics to make him forget about it. Rinse and repeat every time the same questions arise. It's even worse if she divorces him and takes a majority of his assets. But why are these men so vulnerable to this scam? Is it because they spent so much time honing their skills for their profession that they don't have much confidence in themselves? And end up settling for these women who, if anything, know how to entice someone like that? And yes, it's men that end up settling. They've met the requirements set by society and women, and what do they get? Some chick with more miles on her than a fourth-hand vehicle, probably a few extra mouths to feed, and an attitude that could make even the devil pity the man. No chastity, no loyalty, and no respect. Even in this disgusting scheme, the outcome of both genders' nature is laid bare. In that, men marry for love, to the point of great personal and financial risk, while women marry for the lifestyle he can provide. Truly disgusting. This is why it's now more important than ever to be calm and measured in one's dating life. But fortunately, there is a bright side to all of this. What is it? They made it easier for us to truly see who they are, and to better address any and all concerns about her character and behavior. How, as I said earlier, they spend more time on their phones than anything else, posting or recording videos and such. Their digital footprint is immense. Simply paying a credible service to conduct a background check is all you need to do. This is not an expense. It's an investment in securing your mental, physical, and financial safety. After all, big companies conduct background checks on prospective employees to ensure they never hire a liability that could wreck the company's image, function, and future. It's not a guarantee, but it minimizes the chance. On an individual basis, the result still holds. After all, your future is just as important to you as a corporation's future. There's just one thing you need to do. Never for a second fall into the illusion of thinking you're special to her and that you could change her, especially if her background check lists a substantial amount of partners prior to you. When you confront them with the facts, she and her allies will say you're insecure and jump to a real man this and a real man that argument. Firstly, never let a woman tell you what a real man is. It's just her delusions. Tell her, unless she has something that dangles between her legs like you do. She has no grounds to say anything on the topic of what a real man is. If she says she does have something that dangles, then run. Whether it's loose, discolored, baggy lips, or tucked in family jewels, just run. You know that old saying, loose lips sink ships? Don't you think it applies here? Thanks for listening to the main topic. Now, on to the self-improvement section of the video. Today's topic will be supplements. If you're new to this, odds are you're confused about all of these different products available that guarantee performance increases and improved results naturally. As someone who has been training for over a decade, I can honestly tell you that you don't need much of any of these things at all. I understand the hype when some influencer, fitness model, or a bodybuilder you look up to endorses certain supplements, you find yourself with a bit of FOMO. But the truth is that almost all of these supplements hardly have any effect on humans, and have a serious lack of credible research proving otherwise. You're essentially pissing your hard-earned money away. To start with, out of the 100% of your training regimen, supplements consist of roughly 5 to 8%. Don't get me wrong, that's still 5 to 8% more than you would have otherwise.
Ow.
But this also means you don't have to think too deeply on it. As a matter of fact, the only supplements that are worth your money are multivitamins, joint supplements, whey protein powder, and creatine. Multivitamins are a must-have to get the necessary dosage of vitamins and minerals for cell functions, including muscle growth. You should select a tablet rather than a capsule, preferably a tablet with a time-release function. This time-release function slows down the dissolution of the tablet, giving your body more time to absorb it. Creatine is self-explanatory. It's the only supplement that has been researched sufficiently and proven to aid in muscle growth. Naturally, you need to take care of your joints. They permit your muscle-building movement and need just as much attention as your muscles. Whey protein is also self-explanatory, an easy, efficient way to get in large quantities of protein fast. They also come in different flavors, so you wouldn't get bored. Just these 4 supplements, in conjunction with a structured diet and training schedule, you're going to start seeing results in about 6 weeks. You just need to remain focused and consistent. Of course, purchase these from trusted brands. My favorites would be Optimum Nutrition and GNC. And you know the beauty of these supplements? They're relatively affordable, which ties into our main topic today being making good financial decisions. The money you would have used to buy unnecessary supplements could now be used for other things. Savings, buying games, an electronic you had your eye on for a while, or going out for a fun night with your buddies, and so on. Although if I may, I would save and buy some basic weight training equipment for use at home, if you have the space for it. It's not a lot, but in the event you can't go to the gym, or don't want to leave your house, at least you could still do something to not get too off track. You could buy more plates later on, if you would rather train at home as well. It's not a purchase. It's an investment that will continue to pay you dividends in maintaining your health far into the future. We've reached the end of the video. If you enjoyed my content, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Till next time, keep rising kings.